Part 1. The thing most people misunderstand about a truly happy Shih Tzu. There is something many dog owners misunderstand. They believe that if their dog is constantly running around the house, wagging its tail all the time, or begging to play every minute, that must mean the dog is happy. But with a Shih Tzu, the reality is often the opposite. A truly happy Shih Tzu often looks surprisingly calm. It may be lying quietly on the sofa, occasionally glancing at you, then drifting back to sleep as if nothing special is happening. And that calmness is actually one of the strongest biological signals that the dog's nervous system is healthy and stable. To understand this, we need to look at how a dog's nervous system works. In biology, the body operates in two main modes. The first is the alert state. When the body prepares for the fight or flight response, in this state, heart rate increases, cortisol rise, and the brain constantly scans the environment for danger. But when a dog feels safe, its nervous system shifts into a different mode, called the rest and recovery state. Breathing slows down. Muscles relax. The brain no longer needs to monitor the environment every second. Shih Tzu dogs are especially sensitive to this shift. For hundreds of years, they were bred not for hunting or guarding, but to live beside humans in homes and royal courts. Their role was companionship. Because of that history, the Shih Tzu nervous system is strongly wired to seek stability and social closeness. When the environment feels predictable and safe, their bodies quickly move into a deep state of relaxation. You can recognize this state through very simple signals. A Shih Tzu that feels secure often has soft eyes rather than a hard stare. The ears are relaxed instead of constantly rotating to catch every sound. The body becomes loose when the dog lies down. Sometimes you may even hear the dog release a small sigh before falling asleep. That is not boredom. That is the nervous system switching off its alert mode. One of the clearest signs of this state appears in the way a Shih Tzu sleeps. When a dog does not feel safe, it often sleeps curled tightly, keeping the body compact so it can jump up instantly if necessary. But when a Shih Tzu feels completely secure inside its home, you may see it sleeping in what look like very silly positions. It may lie on its side with its legs stretched out, or even roll onto its back with its belly exposed. In the animal world, exposing the belly is one of the most vulnerable positions possible. So when a dog sleeps like that, it means the brain has decided that the environment is safe enough to completely relax. Something else fascinating happens in the body during this relaxed state. A hormone called oxytocin begins to increase. Oxytocin is often known as the bonding hormone. It appears when a mother holds her child, when humans feel trust and emotional connection, and when dogs interact closely with their owners. Scientific research on dog behavior has shown that even a short moment of eye contact between a dog and its owner can increase oxytocin levels in both of them. This explains why sometimes your Shih Tzu simply lies nearby and looks at you quietly. It is not asking for food. It is not demanding attention. It is simply watching. In that quiet moment, a deep biological communication is happening. The dog's brain is essentially saying, "Everything is okay. I am safe here." So, if you look at your Shih Tzu resting peacefully in the living room, occasionally opening its eyes to check where you are before drifting back to sleep, do not assume the dog is bored. In many cases, that peaceful behavior is one of the strongest signals that the dog is living in an environment where its nervous system feels completely secure. And in the next part, we will explore something even more fascinating. It turns out that a Shih Tzu's brain does not simply relax when it is near its owner. The dog's brain is actually designed to create a powerful emotional loop between dog and human. A loop where even a single glance can trigger biological changes in both brains. And that is one of the reasons Shih Tzu dogs often form bonds with their owners in a way that very few other breeds do. Part 2. The oxytocin loop. Why Shih Tzu bonds with you so deeply. There is a biological reason why Shih Tzu dogs often seem emotionally attached to their owners in a way that feels almost human. It is not just personality. It is chemistry inside the brain. Scientists studying dog behavior discovered something remarkable when they observed how dogs interact with their owners. When a dog and its owner look into each other's eyes for a short time, both bodies begin releasing a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is widely known as the bonding hormone. It appears when a mother holds her baby, when humans feel trust, and when social relationships become emotionally secure. In one well-known experiment, researchers measured oxytocin levels in both dogs and their owners before and after interaction. When the dog and owner maintained gentle eye contact, oxytocin levels increased significantly in both of them. In other words, the emotional connection was not just psychological. It was a measurable biological reaction happening in both nervous systems at the same time. This mechanism is especially visible in companion breeds, like the Shih Tzu. For centuries, these dogs were bred specifically to live close to humans, not to guard property or chase prey. Because of that history, their brains evolved to respond strongly to human social signals. Eye contact, voice tone, facial expressions, and even body posture can influence how safe or connected a Shih Tzu feels. That is why many Shih Tzu owners notice a quiet behavior that seems simple but actually carries deep meaning. The dog may sit across the room and look at you calmly for several seconds. It does not bark. It does not run over immediately. It simply watches you. In that moment, the dog is not being passive. It is participating in a social exchange. The brain is reading your face, your movement, and your emotional state. Another fascinating detail appears in studies that scanned the brains of dogs while they smelled different scents. When dogs smelled the scent of their owners, a region of the brain called the reward center became highly active. This same brain region activates when animals experience something positive or meaningful. For a Shih Tzu, the scent of its owner is not just familiar, it is neurologically rewarding. This explains several behaviors many owners see every day. A Shih Tzu might choose to lie on a shirt you left on the couch. It might rest near your shoes. It might follow you quietly from one room to another without asking for attention. These actions are not random habits. They are signs that the dog's brain associates your presence, your scent, and your voice with safety and emotional reward. Because of this bonding system, Shih Tzu dogs often develop what behavior scientists call a social feedback loop. When the dog looks at you, oxytocin increases. When you respond with attention or a calm voice, the dog's brain strengthens that positive association. Over time, this repeated loop builds a powerful emotional connection between the two of you. That is why many Shih Tzu owners say something that sounds simple but carries a deeper truth. They often feel that their dog understands them. From a scientific perspective, that feeling is not entirely imaginary. The dog's brain has literally adapted to read human signals and respond to them. And this connection leads to the next important question. When a Shih Tzu truly feels that it belongs in your home, its behavior inside that space begins to change in subtle but fascinating ways. In the next part, we will explore how a Shih Tzu shows that it sees your home not just as a place to live, but as a safe territory where it can completely relax. Part 3. When a Shih Tzu starts treating your home like its territory, there is a moment that quietly happens in the life of almost every Shih Tzu. It is the moment when the house stops being just a place it lives in and starts becoming a place it truly belongs to. you usually will not notice it happening on a specific day. Instead, you begin to see small behaviors change. The dog moves through the home differently. It chooses where to rest. It behaves as if the entire environment is familiar and safe. In animal behavior science, this is known as territorial confidence. When a dog feels uncertain in an environment, its movements tend to be cautious and limited. It may stay in one safe spot for long periods. It may avoid certain rooms or remain close to the door or its bed. The nervous system is still monitoring the surroundings for potential threats. But when a Shih Tzu truly feels secure in its home, its behavior becomes very different. It begins to explore the space freely. You may see it walk from the living room to the kitchen, then to the hallway, then back again. Not because it is restless, but because it feels comfortable moving through its territory. The house becomes a network of familiar locations rather than a single safe corner. One of the most interesting signals appears in how the dog chooses resting places. A confident Shih Tzu does not always sleep in the same spot. Sometimes it lies near the window where sunlight enters the room. Later, it may move to the carpet in the hallway. In the evening, it might curl up near your feet while you sit on the couch. These changes are not random. They show that the dog feels safe enough to relax in multiple areas of the home. Another behavior that often appears in relaxed dogs is bringing objects to their owner. A Shih Tzu may carry a toy across the room and drop it near you. Sometimes it even brings things that are not toys, like a sock or a piece of fabric. From a scientific perspective, this behavior is a form of social sharing. In the natural behavior of social animals, sharing valued objects with another individual can strengthen social bonds. You may also notice moments when your Shih Tzu begins playing by itself. It might toss a toy into the air, chase it across the floor, or chew on something while lying comfortably in the middle of the room. This kind of self-directed play is extremely important from a behavioral perspective. Animals rarely play when they feel threatened. Play requires spare mental energy. And that energy only exists when the brain believes the environment is safe. For a Shih Tzu, this type of relaxed behavior is often subtle. It does not always look dramatic. The dog might simply lie in the center of the room instead of hiding near the wall. It might stretch out its legs while resting. It might slowly walk through the house just to check where everyone is before settling down again. These small actions tell an important story. The dog's brain is no longer treating the home as a place to monitor. It is treating it as a place to live. The environment has become predictable, familiar, and emotionally secure. And when that happens, another fascinating change often follows. The Shih Tzu begins to align its daily rhythm with the rhythm of the people in the house. It starts recognizing patterns in your schedule, learning when you wake up, when you relax, and when the day begins to slow down. In the final part, we will explore how this shared rhythm becomes one of the clearest signs that a Shih Tzu truly feels connected to its human family. Part 4. When your Shih Tzu starts living on the same rhythm as you, there is one final sign that reveals something deeper than simple comfort. It happens quietly over time, and many owners do not even notice when it begins. Your Shih Tzu starts living on the same daily rhythm as you. Dogs are extremely good at detecting patterns. Their brains constantly observe repetition in the environment. When events happen in a consistent order, the dog's nervous system begins to predict what will happen next. Scientists studying companion animals call this social synchronization. It means the dog gradually aligns its behavior with the daily routine of the humans around it. You may start noticing this in very small ways. Your Shih Tzu begins waking up close to the time you wake up. When you sit down in the evening, the dog settles nearby instead of wandering around the house. When you move toward the kitchen, the dog becomes alert because it recognizes a familiar pattern connected to feeding time. This is not just habit. It is a sign that the dog's brain has learned that life in this environment is predictable and safe. When routines are stable, the nervous system no longer needs to stay on high alert. The brain relaxes because it knows what comes next. One of the clearest examples appears when a dog waits calmly for its owner. An anxious dog may pace, whine, or scratch at the door when the owner leaves. But a Shih Tzu with a stable emotional state often reacts very differently. It may simply lie down, sleep, or quietly move around the house. The dog understands that the owner will return because the pattern of the day has repeated many times before. This ability to trust routine is extremely important for a breed like the Shih Tzu. Remember, these dogs were never designed to survive alone in unpredictable environments. They evolved alongside humans in calm indoor spaces. Their emotional stability depends heavily on the reliability of human behavior. When the daily rhythm becomes consistent, the Shih Tzu's brain begins to relax more deeply. Over time, something fascinating happens. The dog is not only reacting to your schedule, it begins to anticipate it. Many owners are surprised when their Shih Tzu walks to the door just minutes before they usually go for a walk, or waits near the couch when it is almost time for the family to relax in the evening. The dog has learned the emotional tempo of the household. From a biological perspective, this is one of the strongest indicators that a dog feels secure. The brain trusts the environment enough to predict the future. When people think about a happy dog, they often imagine excitement, constant movement, and endless energy. But for a Shih Tzu, happiness usually looks very different. It appears in calm eyes, relaxed sleep, quiet observation, and a peaceful rhythm that matches the life of its owner. A Shih Tzu that feels safe will not always demand attention. Sometimes it simply lies nearby, watching the world slowly move around it. Its nervous system is calm. Its environment feels predictable. And most importantly, it trusts the human it lives with. So the next time you see your Shih Tzu resting quietly beside you, do not assume nothing is happening. In that quiet moment, something important is taking place inside its brain. The dog is not just living in your home. It has learned that this place and the people inside it are where it truly belongs.